This is the Mikedjkelly podcast.
Mikedjkelly.
So here we are with yet another fun-filled, action-packed, cheaper than chips, and we're all set to go with another cram-packed audio adventure that we lovingly call the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast. And this isn't any ordinary podcast. This is the Mikedjkelly Jubilee Bunting 3 Shorter Than Short digitally driven podcast with extra sprinkles.
On this week's podcast.
So sit back and catch the red meat. Coming up on this sugar-free Shorter Than Short Monday Money, cost of sport, house buying, pompous people, University of Drink, adverts, Joyce the assistant, fake news, Twitter news, charities, competitions, and a whole lot more. It's very difficult planning these podcasts and trying to keep newsy and relevant when for the last 6 editions I've been expecting the crime monster to be out of a job and expecting to have to do a fast re-edit to make it work. Has he gone yet?
This is the Shorter Than Short Mikedjkelly podcast.
Not our proper quiz, but guess the song these lyrics come from. Have you heard it on the news? About this fascist groove thang? Evil men with racist views spreading all across the land. Couldn't be more appropriate and a good song. Get it downloaded. Let's get the nation singing along with Heaven 17 and Fascist Groove Thang. You have probably heard on the news, TV and radio shows when they do Vox Pops, where they ask the great British public what they think about something. I'm thinking of getting some together from our listeners about what they think of the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
Sounds very risky. Are you sure this is what you want to do?
Go on, Joyce, let's do it. Could I ask what you think of the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast?
I like the assistant Joyce, is it?
Says it's shorter than short, but it's still bloody too long.
Where does it come from?
Oh, I'm very busy at the moment. There's some good adverts on it, but I can never find them in the shops.
There's too much loud music for me.
I rather like his voice. I rather like the assistant. Could we have more of her?
I say, is it some sort of Tory party promotional thing?
It's rather naughty, but nice.
How much does it cost?
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
In my younger days, when I was more concerned about how I looked, I used to buy shoes more than I do now. I occasionally got them from Clark's on the high street, but when passing by their local shop the other day, they had a massive window but only 6 pairs of shoes on display. In my shoe buying days, the window used to be full of all different types and styles that they did. What's happened? Is it Brexit that's affected the amount of shoes available on display, or have they gone all Argus, like you have to go in to find out what they have in stock?
Mr. Mike, I bet you look good in a brown brogue.
Ah, there you are, Assistant Joyce. How are you?
I have been looking at the newspaper and online job sites to see if I can get a better broadcasting job, as you do not pay enough.
Never mind jobs, there's an application form in The Guardian for their Saturday blind date column, where you go for a meal with a potential partner at a restaurant paid for by The Guardian. You'll need to fill in the form and answer their questions. Do you want to do it now?
Fire away, Mr. Shorter Than Short.
Okay, off we go. Shouldn't take long, there's only 10 to answer. Full name?
Joyce Sybil Custard.
Age?
35.
Favourite food?
Escargot and spinach.
Favourite drink?
17-year-old Jack Daniels.
Favourite smell?
Cheese, especially crusty blue cheese.
First pet?
Mr. M. Gregor, a goldfish.
First book borrowed from a library?
I remember it was by David Thorne and it was called That's Not How to Wash a Squirrel.
First ever record you bought?
It was What's Her Name, Saori Swara, the Singing Nun, and Dominique.
First job?
Professional bridesmaid.
Sexual preference?
Any at all. And now,
This is the Shorter Than Short Mikedjkelly podcast.
A lot of people are umming and erring over whether the Queen should melt down her gold carriage and share her immense wealth with the less well-off in the UK. Let me say, don't forget her Madge does give away money each year on Maundy Thursday. Not sure how you get invited to get the dosh, but these are the details. This regal tradition dates back hundreds of years, back to the 4th century. But the gifting of silver coins began in 1662 under the reign of Charles II. Nowadays, the Queen typically goes to a different cathedral every year and presents an equal number of men and women with 2 purses of Maundy money. During the service, the Queen distributes gifts according to the number of years she has lived. For example, in 2020, Her Majesty was 95, and so the Queen has distributed 95 pence worth of Maundy money to 95 men and 95 women in recognition for their contribution to community and to the church. Not really worth getting dressed up for, is it? That's a total of £185 and 25 pence altogether. Now doff your hat and bow and smile and say thank you.
Planning a family holiday abroad and need to get there on a budget? Try our new hop-on, hop-off car ferry from Dover to Calais. Our Saudi owners are now offering a return ticket for up to 5 people, with or without a vehicle, for £100 this summer. That's £100 for up to 5 people and a car. Terms and conditions apply. Onboard toilets charged at premium prices. Seated journey travel costs extra. All staff are qualified and paid the minimum on the worldwide pay scale. On busy days, some cars and families will travel in onboard shipping containers. Lifeboats and life jackets are at extra cost.
Unlike Twining's tea, we, here at the Shorter Than Short, do not have royal approval.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
Pompous people alert. Bernie Ecclestone was arrested and later released on bail after a gun was found in his luggage when he attempted to board a flight in Brazil. I might be wrong, but I'm guessing that a person on universal credit travelling on a bus with a gun might not get off so lightly, and depending on the colour of your skin, you might be heading to Rwanda.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
Remember the days when pubs used to have a £10 for all you could drink night? I was reminded of it when listening to the Capsule in Conversation podcast with Natalie Anderson and Millie Gooch and the Sober Girls Society. It's a good podcast and will make you wonder if going to university is where many drink-related problems start. And on that note, I often see mobility scooters parked outside pubs for long periods of time. Are they drinking coffee, tea, soft drinks, or should they be taking a taxi home instead of a mobility scooter? Maybe it's the laws that need updating. Anybody on an electric scooter or electric bike could be over the limit. No insurance, no number plates. Look at the amount of electric vehicles in town centre pedestrian areas.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mikedjkelly podcast.
Out there on Twitter, John Pitchford. What is the difference between black-eyed peas and chickpeas? Black-eyed peas can sing us a song, chickpeas can hum us one. Kevin Pascoe, there are 2 million streets in Britain, but despite all the hype, there are only 16,000 street parties, so 124 out of 125 streets realise it's nonsense. Tiberius, they didn't have 20 million to feed starving kids during a pandemic, but they've pulled out 1.3 billion, 65 times more, for Jubilee celebrations.
I have one. John Dredge, the kids from Fame must be pensioners by now.
Benefits News, DWP officers to have powers to arrest over universal credit fraud. Tides of history. In the 1980s, Tory MP Matthew Parris tried to live for a week on a single man's unemployment benefit of £26.80 in a Scotswood bedsit and failed spectacularly. Lee Anderson should be humble enough to do the same today.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
As always, the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast is dipped in chocolate, topped with marshmallows and coated in fairy dust. And as ever, we are looking at the evidence and it's based on the science.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Guess the song. From a song with some of the most memorable lyrics ever, what song do you think these lines are from? Pack up your dirty looks, your songs that have no hooks, your stacks of modern screen, your portraits of the Queen. Name the song or the artiste or both. Talking of music, I wonder what was number one in the UK charts as Madge celebrates her Plat Jubilee. Number one, As It Was by Harry Styles, the same as last week. But hey, what's this new entry at number 20? Prince Andrew is a sweaty. What's that word and who's it by? Assistant Joyce, do you know?
I do know, but I cannot bring myself to use words like that.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
My wife has always rather liked the fact that I'm not into sport. I don't mean exercise, but watching a particular genre of sport and supporting a team, going to watch games, having subscription to sports channels and buying the kit, shirts, etc. And then there's the cost of going to an event. Ben Stokes has been in the news for saying over £100 a day is too much to watch cricket. What do you think? How much do Premier League tickets cost? During the 2019-2020 Premier League season, Arsenal sold the most expensive matchday ticket at £97, followed by West Ham for £95, Chelsea for £87, Tottenham for £81 and Liverpool for £59. So based on a 90-minute game, an Arsenal ticket costs £64.66 an hour. In the recent England versus New Zealand cricket match at Lord's, top price seats are £160 and the majority cost more than £100. That's for a scheduled 6 hours of play, weather permitting, so that at £160 is £26.66 an hour. For centre court action at Wimbledon on the 10th of July, you can get a day pass from the official website for £240. Tickets are notoriously hard to get, but from unofficial sites they are £3,000. Final games start at 2 p.m. and let's say finish at 9 p.m, so that's £26.66 an hour with a £240 ticket, the same as cricket. For the semi-finals at darts at the Crucible, between £88 and £550 a ticket. Tickets at Wembley for the Wigan Warriors versus Huddersfield Giants. Tickets for the final start at £15 for under 18s and concessions, and £30 for adults. The cheapest available tickets are in Category 4, with other categories being more expensive. So an Arsenal ticket at £64 an hour is the most expensive. My go-to value for money comparison is 4 pints in an hour at £5 would be £20. So my rule of thumb comparison makes the Arsenal ticket look very expensive.
This isn't any ordinary podcast. This is the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
Just gone back to an old school razor with razor blades. What do you do with the blades when you finish with them? What did we used to do with them?
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Do tell your friends about the podcast. All they need to do to find it is search on Google for the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
More from Twitter. The secret barrister. The criminal justice system has never been in more chaos. This government has defunded every element, from police to CPS, to legal aid, to courts, to probation, to prisons. There has never been a better time to be a criminal than under this Prime Minister. Stormzy. I'd like to give a very special thanks to everyone who attended the Jubilee. Bring your own booze along. Nuala Suchet, Michael O'Leary, Ryanair states pre-Brexit, you would have had lots of Eastern Europeans doing check-in jobs, handling baggage, etc. Labour shortage is a direct result of Brexit, a disaster for the UK economy and it's driving inflation. Gordon S., that left-wing Corbyn bloke doesn't give up, does he? Whilst the majority are out celebrating the Queen, he is visiting food banks and supporting NHS staff. No wonder he gets such a bad name. My favourite Twitter name? Dulsado. You guys remember how we had clap for carers? Can we arrange a day when we all go outside at a chosen time and boo for Boris? Amanda. Someone on a local Facebook page is selling tickets to a Freddie Mercury night and a person has replied asking if it's a tribute act and I truly deserve some sort of award for not making a comment. Howard Beckett, 23 quid for an unlimited train and bus travel throughout Germany for 90 days. UK rail fares up 49% under the Tories. Renationalise railways.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
Never mind heat or eat. What about those who cannot eat due to dental issues? Looks like any major dental issues being resolved by the NHS are a thing of the past. People saying on social media, cheaper to fly first class to India and stay in a top hotel to get the dental work done, and it's all cheaper than getting it done in the UK. Today's do-gooders are pathway.org.uk. Pathway is the UK's leading homeless healthcare charity, helping the NHS to create hospital teams to support homeless patients. Each team includes a specialist GP, nurses, allied health professionals, housing experts and, in some hospitals, pathway care navigators. People who were once homeless who we train to support homeless patients. Pathway teams provide patients with housing and benefits advice, help to recover important documents such as birth certificates and passports, links to community services, support and collaboration with other clinicians, e.g. advice on drug interactions, complex care planning and discharge liaison, referral for addictions support, help with GP registration, fresh clothes, shoes and other basics, for example where these have been destroyed because of infection and infestation, help to reconnect with loved ones. To be inspired or to find out more, head off to pathway.org.uk.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mikedjkelly podcast.
A few questions that need answering. At what age do you become a ukulele player? Is the Virgin Money website the worst website? Was it designed by kids with red crayons? People pay for newspapers. Why? Should there be some sort of body that compels them to tell the truth? Growing plants in moon ash? Do we have the right to do this? It's not our moon ash. Is it okay for us to take it and use it? Sounds a bit like our colonial past. Is everybody dishonest and corrupt? Is it now the accepted normal thing to do?
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
Fake showbiz news, FSN. Arise, Sir Honey Monster. Veteran serial mascot is given a knighthood in the Queen's Jubilee birthday honours, while Geordie Shore star Charlotte Crosby becomes a dame, and there are OBEs for the Shamans, Mr. C and Road Rage star Ronnie Pickering. Gary Barlow says if you're going to the fair, why not save yourself a fortune by finding out what type of token they use and then ordering a big bag of them from a supplier online? Rihanna says now is the time to get acquainted with changes to bin collections over the extended bank holiday weekend. I gather the vast majority of councils have put the details on their website, with a few notable exceptions, and you can probably guess who they are, she said. Arctic Monkeys announce whatever the Wordle answer is on Wednesday, that will be the name of their new album. Johnny Vaughan reveals he's acquired a large amount of electricity and is selling it for a bargain price of 14 pence per kilowatt hour. That's a whopping saving on the standard variable rate, he said. Little Mix reveal they sometimes drive to a random village and compete to see who can steal the most Amazon packages left outside houses. Once I found a Little Mix lunchbox, laughed Perry. The Dalai Lama praises the genius of All Saints for including the lyrics A to Z and A to Z in Never Ever, reflecting the fact that the song is sung by English and Canadian vocalists. I doubt the Spice Girls would ever have thought of that, he laughed.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
If you're new to the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast, you can still get to hear all previous episodes by just searching or shouting the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast. Okay, time to check out what's on offer in those voucher emails this week. Father's Day, craft beer hamper, 8 beers, tasting glass, and more.
Oh, that would be nice. I might get Dad some.
What's this? Tough Mudder 5K or 10K upgrade, 7 locations nationwide.
What a run in mud. Is it a mud wrestling type thing? Why?
100 online scratch cards from Lotto Land, 6-month supply of hay fever tablets, cetirizine or Lottodine. Luxury chocolate fudge hamper, 5 flavours.
Ooh, I might get that for me.
Dogfest 2022 entry ticket for 1 or 2.
Does the dog need a ticket?
Folding picnic table, 2 sizes.
Ooh, how handy. Do they do any Tupperware sets to go with it?
160-foot bungee jump, 14 nationwide locations. Women's flip-flop bunion sandals, 5 UK sizes and colours.
Bunion sandals. The world's gone mad.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Okay, let's play Guess the Celebrity. Born in Oxford on the 11th of June 1959. He is a screenwriter, actor, writer, singer, comedian, pianist, singer-songwriter, musician, television director, voice actor, film director, film producer, novelist, television actor, film actor. He is perhaps best known for portraying the title character on the Fox medical drama series House, for which he got paid £250,000 an episode. Who is he?
I know the answer. It's Quincy, played by Jack Klugman.
No, it's not. Let's do a few TV bits. Watching an old episode of Frank Skinner's Room 101, and Paxman was on, saying David Cameron was the worst Prime Minister ever. Do you think if he was asked now, he would say the same? Why does the bloke continuity announcer on Yorkshire TV around tea time have to shout what programmes are coming up? Question, do you think washing machines live longer with Calgol? Another question, which advert has the annoying strapline of the expert hand with the human touch?
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
Do you remember those triangular frozen orange juice thingies? Out now, our special Jubilee edition of that frozen drink treat from the 60s in the original tetrahedron 4-sided shape and still looking a bit like a pyramid or a giant humbug. Get your special frozen orange Jubilee Jubilee to keep you cool during the Jubilee celebrations. To eat or drink, you cut off one end of the wax cardboard package and eat the ice lolly jolly by gradually pushing it out of the packaging. And as the song says, I'll buy you one more frozen orange juice on this fantastic day. Don't forget pod pickers if you want to get in touch about anything to do with the Shorter Than Short podcast show. Please use the following to contact us, and if you have any stories, gossip, jokes or anything for the next episode, email hello@mikedjkelly.co.uk, on Twitter @MikeKellyDisco. If you have time, it would be appreciated if you could give us a review on any of the usual feedback sites. In the late news, I see going green and cutting emissions is still off target, not helped by Meghan and Harry using a private jet to get to the lovely jubbly event. What's wrong with using regular commercial airline flights? Are we ever going to have affordable housing where people on a normal average wage can get on the ladder? Why not a new type of mortgage where if you're earning enough to put down a deposit to pay rent, you can do the same to buy a house? So a £200,000 house, would you buy at that price? No massive deposit, just £1,000 deposit, £500 a month to buy. You live there and treat it as your own home. It, like all other properties, goes up in value 10% a year, so after the first year it's worth $220,000 and you've paid off $6,000 in mortgage. The increasing year-on-year value of the house means you do not need to pay a 20 or 30% deposit, which is the stumbling block for most people. New laws have come in Las Vegas, where the owners of the Elvis Presley estate have made it illegal for any Elvis impersonators to carry out weddings in Las Vegas. Sudden move by many venues from Elvis to rock and roll weddings.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mikedjkelly podcast.
Final burst from Twitter. The Spectator. Thanks to Jeremy Clarkson, the Russian media are reporting the British are turning to cannibalism. Tabitha McIntosh. Middle-aged male comedians be more like Frank Skinner challenge. My kid, I can learn from him. He's fine with gender politics, he's fine with race, he doesn't even question it. We talk about those things. The future is going to be a lot better. Roy Ellaby. If you've not already given at Boom Radio UK a try, perhaps now is the time. David Lloyd, David Hamilton, Kid Jensen, Roger Twiggy Day, Nicky Horn, Jay Markham, Les Ross, John Peters, Dave Brown, Jenny Hanley and more. Otter. Question. It appears that the government have scrapped all environmental business incentives for new cars unless they are 100% electric with zero CO emissions. Is this confirmed, as it would mean plug-in hybrids are no longer considered? Only Boy 67. Billy Conley. I'm still taking my medicine and getting on with it. What a legend. Bradley Temperley, Stephen Fry, What Goes Woof Woof Boom, Phil Jupitus, the next Norwegian song entry for the Eurovision Song Contest. My heart goes woof woof boom.
Cause 4. Bradford has been named UK City of Culture 2025. The successful bid championed diversity and young people.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
If you want to get in touch with this top-rated and sometimes much listened to podcast, please contact by email hello@mikedjkelly.co.uk, on Twitter @MikeKellyDisco. Indeed, if you want a podcast making for your business or need any help with radio producer or presentation, travel news, voiceover work, please do get in touch. Please tell your friends about the podcast. All they need to do to find it is search on Google for the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mikedjkelly podcast.
Okay, it's time to go. Guess the song. What song are these lines from? Pack up your dirty looks, your songs that have no hooks, your stacks of modern screen, your portraits of the Queen. Go on then, another verse. Your nasty habits ain't confined to bed. The grocer told me what you do with bread. Why don't you take up with the baker's wife instead of me? Or maybe this would help. Pack up your rubber duck. I would like to wish you luck. Your funny cigarettes, your 61 cassettes, pack all your clothes away, your rubber hose away. Name the song or the artiste or both. It was the excellent Carol Bear Sager and You're Moving Out Today. Guess the celebrity, born in Oxford on the 11th of June 1959. He is a screenwriter, actor, writer, singer, comedian, pianist, singer, songwriter, musician, television director, voice actor, film director, film producer, novelist, television actor, film actor. And he's perhaps best known for portraying the title character on the Fox medical drama series House, for which he got paid $250k an episode. Who is he? James Hugh Callum Laurie. Hugh Laurie. And do you think the washing machine lives longer with Calgol? I don't think it does, but during its lifetime of the machine, you'll spend a lot more money on it. Guess what? The curtains are closing, Elvis has left the building, and that's enough for this edition of the crazy, shorter than short Mikedjkelly podcast. From me, Mike Kelly, and Joyce, thank you for listening, and please take care out there. And remember, you can always find the podcast by searching or shouting the Mikedjkelly podcast.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
This is the Mike Kelly podcast.
Mikedjkelly.